Good morning, everybody. This is Minesh here from Palm Coast, Florida, a small town between St. Augustine and Daytona Beach. I'm joined with my beautiful daughter, Mooskaan. So, Mooskaan, wave your hand there. She's 19 years old. She works with me. And the goal is very simple. The goal is to give people the tools they need to grow their business. Now, the first place we all need to start is prospecting, sales, etc. So that's what we will be talking about here as well. So Nancy, welcome. She's from Stuart, Florida. She's been a friend, client, and somebody who has spoken at my different events. Peelan, we call her Peelan. She's in Michigan. David is in Michigan too, correct? Okay. Scott, where are you located?
Colorado.
Colorado. Which part of Colorado?
Littleton, it's a suburb of Denver.
Oh, okay. Suburb of Denver. I don't see Ravi, so I don't know if he can talk, and I would love to have him turn on the camera as well. And I'm sure we'll have a few more people joining in. I am recording, so people will have access to the recording as well. Now, some of you may not know my background. I'll give you very briefly, and I'll start the PowerPoints in a second as well. I was a computer programmer. I was born in a very poor family in India. And by the way, Muskan, can you keep looking at the waiting room? And we were 5 children. My parents, they did the best they could in India. We lived in like a big room, 1 kitchen, and outdoor plumbing. So when people say, Minesh, do you enjoy camping? I'm like, I did that for 25 years. I don't have to do it more. If I have to rough it, I roughed it for a long time in my life. And then I started in IT. I was pretty sharp in academics. I got into some really nice colleges and stuff, except I didn't enjoy my job. So 12 years into that profession, I decided to branch on my own, becoming a speaker, author, and a business coach. I published 12 different books, including Stop Hiring Losers, etc. And again, certain things were never easy for me. Selling, closing, some things which as an IT professional was never something I did. And hence, it was not natural for me to learn some of these talents and skills. And if you are somebody who's already great at it, fantastic. But if you're not, and you're like, hey, how do we learn this? Here is what I will tell you. Selling is the most important skill you can learn in life. You want like life? Yes. If you want a spouse, you better sell yourself. If you want a job, you sell yourself. You want a client, you sell yourself. So every single moment in life, we are trying to sell somebody to our idea, belief, or whatever that is. So that is the main crux of our conversation, is how to make selling and growing your business, adding people to your team, which is one of the things I've been doing for 20 plus years. And I'm going to turn on the PowerPoint here. So give me a quick second here. So today's program is called 4 Tools to Explode Your Prospecting. And what I'm looking for is people to share. This is going to be more like a fun conversation rather than just Minesh talking all the time. Okay. So give me a second while this screen loads here. Okay, share screen. Okay, there you go. Okay, so 4 tools to start explode your prospecting here. So as you know, Grant Cardone, maybe some of you are familiar with him. Grant is a phenomenal trainer, internationally renowned business and sales expert, author of 8 sales and business books like 10X Rules, Sell or Be Sold, Be Obsessed or Be Average. He's a real estate investor. Today, he has over $4 billion of real estate portfolio. So he has gotten into investing and he's doing really, really well. He's a philanthropist, donates a lot of money. As I mentioned, I'm an author, speaker, and business coach for over 20 years. Some of you can, I won't go into detail about Grant Cardone. Hopefully everybody knows about him. If you don't, you can Google him and find everything on him. One of the things you'll find is he was the undercover billionaire in the show with Discovery Channel, which was phenomenal by itself. I was born in a city called Agra, so my accent is different. And if you don't understand, let me know. My daughter can repeat it, right? She's born here, so her accent is different. Here are a couple of the books I have published: Stop Hiring Losers, $1 Million Team Secrets. And the one that my daughter and I are going to be releasing very shortly is called 7 Critical Skills They Do Not Teach in School. So that's going to be a very helpful book for a lot of people to make decisions about their career. Now, I have done over 200 trips to Disney World with my family. And the reason was I enjoyed time with my family. That's important to me. I designed my life around it because I know one thing is my children will remember the experiences they have had with me. And I want to make sure they were a priority for me. Now, remember, I used to live in Michigan at that time, not Florida. So this was during the winter. We would come here, stay for 3-6 months, and then we would get annual pass. And practically after the day was over 4 p.m., we would go down to the Disney World. It's not as convenient now as it used to be, but anyway. So here is the question. Are you prospecting enough? This webinar is for salespeople, entrepreneurs who want to stay consistent in prospecting, looking for ideas and tips to grow their network, make it easier to attract and follow up with customers, get referrals, work less, and leverage time using tools. So the question for all of us is, are we prospecting enough? And the answer for most of us is going to be no. So let me ask you, what would happen if you prospected more? So put it in the chat. And if your camera is on, I would love to have you even share that. In fact, Scott, what would happen if you started prospecting more?
Action breeds action, I believe. So the more you prospect, the more you're going to get leads, referrals, connections, relationships, etc.
Exactly. And Rick Ruby says this all the time. Give me somebody who will talk to more people than somebody who's very skilled at closing. Because the person who is willing to talk to more people will close more sales eventually, right? And that's the key part of it. Nancy, what would happen if you prospected more?
Again, it's very clear that I'd meet more people. The more, sales is a numbers game. So the more people you meet, the more opportunities you have to develop relationships, and those relationships then can go on to become referral partners and clients.
Exactly. And Nancy has been teaching certain aspects of sales for a while because she teaches about communication, right? And that's what will happen as well. So let's keep going here to the next. So why do we not prospect more? So these are the 4 things that typically are the situations for people. Number 1 is fear. Now, why do we fear prospecting? Because we are afraid of the rejection. We are afraid of what the other person will do, how they will respond. And my goal is to help people overcome that fear in a number of ways. And the most important part is provide support. Number 2 is lack of time. It's like we don't manage our time enough properly, or we don't have enough tools to leverage our time. Number 3 is no clear strategy. We are prospecting one day for one thing, the next day for another thing, and we change our mind every month. And guess what happens? We don't really prospect the right people over a time period, and we don't get the traction that we are looking for. And the last one is missing accountability. We will do consistently what we hold our high standards to be, and sometimes it's easier to fall off that standard because, hey, I don't feel like today. Now, how many of you at some point or the other, like, oh, I don't feel like prospecting, and you didn't? I know I'm guilty of that. But if somebody was holding me accountable, I'm more and more likely to be staying consistent in prospecting. So does anybody want to share what may be? And again, just be open, because fear of prospecting has stopped me too. So I'm just being very open and transparent here. So what do you think has been stopping you from prospecting more?
Keelan put in the chat distractions.
Distractions is important, right? Anything else? Who else?
David says he agrees. It's distractions for him too.
Distractions is important. Okay. Anybody else has any question, any comments on why you are not prospecting enough?
Mike says fear.
Fear is important. And just be aware. People say false evidence appearing real. It's like, yeah, but it is real to you, right? And we must find ways to support ourselves. If we have fear, don't let that fear stop you. Find people who can support you, which is the whole idea of creating this. And I'll explain that in a minute as well. The bottom line for all of us is something is stopping us. Let's find somebody to help us. It's never going to be more complicated, except we don't always feel that we should reach out to somebody for help. And my goal is to make that transparent, approachable process so that you can get the support you're looking for. Now,
So
my
I'm
mission,
gonna add, if I could, that a lot of times I found myself doing other activities, so I'm busy rather than making this a priority. In other words,
Mhm,
instead of doing money-making activities, I'm doing other things. Maybe that's called a distraction, but
mhm.
we're busy, but I'm not busy doing the right things.
Correct. So I would say focused on the most important activities, right? Which is very good point. So my mission is to make selling and building business easy and effortless. So that would mean selling, marketing, building your team, and being profitable. Then build positive habits in prospecting, because we can all have different habits, but positive habits in prospecting. Become confident in approaching prospects, because most of us feel some sense of fear, intimidation, discomfort, awkwardness, and this happens to all of us, right? So let's become more confident in approaching prospects. Leverage time and resources in prospecting, which is what we're going to talk a lot about today, is how to leverage your time and resources in prospecting. Most important, play a big game. If you have a big game, big goal, the only way to achieve most of your goals is going to be approaching more people. Would you all agree with me on that? It's like, if you want to achieve bigger results in whatever area you're looking at, most likely it is approaching more people. Right now, we have a lot of conversation going out about presidential race, especially from the Republican side, because obviously they have a Democrat incumbent. In Republican, one of the guys who's doing really well in growing is Vivek Ramaswamy. This is a guy whose family is from India. And the more important part about it, he succeeded very well at the age of 37. He's a billionaire. Okay. But more important is out there talking to everybody, because the more he builds his network, the more people who know him, he's playing a big game and he's stepping up as much as possible. I'm not endorsing him. I'm just pointing out how people are doing it. So how to help salespeople and entrepreneurs. So here is the goal here, how we will do it. Okay. We talked about share confidence from my experience, apply content from Grant Cardone. We talked about building positive habits, becoming confident, leveraging time, build a community of over 100 members in the next 90 days to play a big game, which is reach out to more people and help them achieve it. So let's talk about 4 tools. So before we go further, let me ask in the chat, and I'll actually stop sharing my screen so people can speak up as well. What is one thing, if you got from the call today, that would be well worth spending the time today? What is one thing that if you got from the call today, you would be like, yep, this was worth it? Speak up.
A 10-point follow-up plan.
A 10-point follow-up plan?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. That's a little bit more I'll have to put into it, but we will help you out, Scott. No problems. Okay, good. Thank you. Who else? What is one thing, if you got from the call today, you would be like, it was well worth attending for you? You are here for a reason, right?
David put in the chat a clear direction on prospecting.
A clear
And
direction.
Lynn says,
Mhm.
hold on, I got scrolled up. Okay, a strategy to build momentum in prospecting.
Okay.
Nancy says specific steps to take in prospecting and follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel says to be more confident when approaching people.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayor says how to know which prospect is serious enough to invest time and money.
Perfect. Wow, you got some great responses. And Mooskaan, she's my daughter, 19-year-old, and she's working with me in business. I didn't think too much about sending her to college. I would rather invest money and time, energy to help her learn business, which I hope more parents started looking like that at the situation, because the world changes pretty fast, right?
Yeah,
So,
Mike put
great
in another
answers.
comment too, the confidence to conquer my fear of approaching people.
Yes, very, very important, Mike. That's exactly the key. So let's talk about prospecting quickly for a couple of minutes, and then the 4 tools we need, which you could use. The number one thing about prospecting is it's a proactive activity. When it's a proactive activity, what happens? It takes energy from you to start. On the other hand, if you are a reactive person, or if you have a reactive situation, for example, you go to, let's say, Walmart, you have a customer service situation, there is not much energy required because you don't have to approach people. People approach you. And when you have to approach people, it takes energy from you, which means you have to make commitment to do something beyond being what is comfortable. And that's the reason prospecting is always going to be harder than not prospecting. It doesn't matter who you are. At any given point, prospecting is always going to be harder than not prospecting because it's a proactive activity, just like exercising, going to the gym, doing something which is usually good for you, but is not natural. Like, for example, when we are hungry, like my wife was asking me just a few minutes ago, Minesh, what time do you want to eat? Said my webinar ends at 11:45, 12 o'clock sounds good. So she's going there helping cook, right? So my food will be ready around that time. So being hungry and eating food is reactive. You don't have to do much proactive stuff to do it. And because prospecting is something proactive, you and I have to set up systems in place, support people in place in order to prospect on a consistent basis. It just is unlikely to happen. So you may be part of a coaching program. I know Scott is part of a coaching program, and some of the other people might be part of a coaching program as well, where you are paying money to help somebody remind you and stay on top of prospecting. Nothing wrong with that. That is exactly what you will have to do. So I'm proud of anybody who's here, obviously, because you could have chosen to be anywhere, but you are here for a reason. The reason is you want to get better results. So how do you get more comfortable prospecting? Well, here is a book that I would highly recommend everybody to read called Rejection Proof. In fact, let me see if I can find this short video clip. Might be, again, this was not part of my plan, but again, I'm going with the flow here. I'm interested in helping you rather than just lecturing to you, because that's not the point here. Okay, we want to find the right things to do here. So give me a second here. Okay, let me see if I can find this video very quickly here. Or maybe Mooskaan, you can go find the clip, which is with the free Starbucks coffee one. Do you remember that one, Mooskaan?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we can find it. And anyway, Mooskaan will go find that possibly. But the book I'm talking about is Rejection Proof. And Rejection Proof is by Jia Jian. And he had challenges in getting, obviously approaching people and was afraid of rejection. So you found it? Okay, good. So you can share it and you can put the sound and video.
So something a little bit funny to ask. I'm getting business coaching, and my coach challenged me to come into Starbucks and ask you guys for a free drink.
For a free drink?
Yeah.
What kind of drink?
A passion fruit iced tea.
Passion tea?
Yeah, with lemonade.
Passion tea limited, what size?
Medium. Actually, the large one.
Passion tea limited.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah, she's go over there. You give it to you.
Thank you so much.
For her. Just make it for her.
You're so sweet.
Okay.
Have an awesome day. Bye.
How many of you were surprised that that is real? Has anybody ever tried something like this? Now, Pilin, you know this lady, correct? You remember her? I initiated that challenge. You were there when I initiated in that room, right? Her name is Deborah, by the way. And I told her to go try that out. And she did. So Rejection Proof. Thanks, Mooskaan, for being on top of stuff. So he, over 90 days, actually 100 days, every day he would challenge himself to go find somebody who would say no to him. And you can find his video clips on Rejection Proof as well. And those are all, he's recorded them. So you can go watch 1 3-minute video clips where he actually approaches somebody for getting rejection. So the question for you is, okay, are you comfortable getting rejection? Though it's not easy, but you can get comfortable over a time period by doing something that's not so normal to you. So how many of you today, in fact, I'll put myself on the challenge as well. How many of you will do at least one step which is unreasonable in asking somebody? Good, go ahead and do that. Something that you would not have done. That's the key. Now, one of the things I've started doing is another book is called Mr. Thank You Project. How many of you heard of the book Mr. Thank You Project? Anybody? Okay, Scott, have you applied some of that? Tell me about that because you raised your hand here.
My biggest thing is just from it is sending out gratitude cards.
Yep. And you do that consistently? I'm sure you do that.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
And turning thank you cards from just like a basic line of a thank you to more of a gratitude and connection points.
Correct. Exactly. I carry thank you cards on me, which are already pre-written to give to strangers. They're already written. Very simple. Thank you for what you do. This card is to appreciate you so that you continue to serve other people with a smile. I write down the card, put it in my package, and I'm out and about. When I find the right opportunity, I'm presenting it to people. Because I know if I don't write it, I don't keep it on me, I'm not even going to write it sometimes. And it's interesting, people, I went to a store called GameStop, and I walked in there, and they're like, hey, by the way, we are going to be closing in a minute. I said, what I have to do will not even take a minute. Here is a thank you card for you. Would you like one? He's like, sure. So putting a smile on other people's faces is a positive in my opinion. So thanks, Scott, for sharing that as well. So Mr. Thank You Project is about giving out thank you cards to people. I highly recommend those two books, Rejection Proof and Mr. Thank You Project, to get yourself more aligned with prospecting on a consistent basis. So I hope that helps you as well. So let's talk about the next step, which let me bring up my PowerPoint here. Let me share back to my screen. So these are the phone calls, etc. So we will talk about actually 6 tools in general, but 4 tools. The first one is for phone calls, direct contact. Next one is phone voicemail. Number 3 is text. Number 4 is cards. And Nancy here is the one who will, give a quick point about her cards as well. The bonus is video emails, and then CRM is customer relationship management. So if you're using a very robust tool, then you can get a lot more done as well. We all know the best way to get a response from people is to be in a communication with people on a consistent basis. But you also need to have a dialogue, which means what? You are exchanging conversation. Hello, hi, smile back, smile. So for phone calls, the number 1 is direct contact, because that's going to give you the best response possible. So how many of you use something like a phone burner, which is a tool which helps you understand how to actually connect with people faster? So let me see anybody using a tool like phone burner. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry about it. So Scott, you are using phone burner. Good. So what is the benefit of using phone burner?
You can preload a list, save hours of times from not having to manually dial, get distracted with your phone, email, whatever. Preloads it. You could preload a voicemail. You can actually have it where it sends an auto text, email, etc.
Exactly. Totally agree with you on that. And that's a very powerful tool. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay. So I will bring up the screen here so you can see the screen. So here is phone burner, and here are the names of people, phone numbers. Obviously, there's some mistake here, but I can go to the next page here. I removed some people. So, okay. So you can see these are different clients. I have their phone numbers listed in phone burner. And then once I check mark and I say begin dial session, guess what happens? By using my phone, I can set up the voicemail and stuff. And start calling these people one by one. If I don't get the person, I can leave a voicemail. On the other hand, if I do get the person, I get to talk to the person. So this is not automated voicemail, which we'll talk about in a minute here. Okay. But this is a very good tool to use on a consistent basis. You can make as many as 30 calls in 30 minutes. Why? Because most of the time you get a voicemail. You press a button, you leave a voicemail. And the message is very simple. Hi, this is Minesh. Hey, just want to reach out to you and let you know that I'm going to be conducting a webinar tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. I'd love to have you join me. If you need more information, just give me a call, 248-866-0063. That's preloaded in the system. I just press a button and go ahead. If I do talk to the person, I end up talking to the person about it. And like Scott said, it really does save a lot of time, energy, distractions. So if you want to make, because if you don't stay focused, you can't get those results as well. Okay, so let's go to, so how many of you understand using phone burner? Now, if you don't have phone burner, okay, if you don't have access to it, like Scott already does, let me know. I have an affiliate account. So obviously if you buy through mine, I get a small 10% cut or whatever, right? But more important is I will help you set it up. I'll make sure that you are actually able to use it, because the more you use it, the more you will enjoy it. I know Mooskaan uses it. Mooskaan, you use phone burner for calling as well. Tell me your experience on phone burner.
It's super easy. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm for some reason really bad with numbers. So dialing a number for me takes like 3 times as long as like the average person, because I don't know why, I just can't do it. So putting all the numbers from just like an Excel spreadsheet into phone burner, and phone burner dials it all for me, it makes my life and my brain so much easier.
Exactly. And can you keep your Google Sheet ready in the next few minutes? Once I've done with the 4 tools, you can show people what you're actually able to do within a day, right? Because that's the key part about that. So let's go to the next part here. Let me share the screen about 4 tools to explore. And again, if I'm being more clumsy than you would like, well, hey, this is me, right? Okay, so phone burner is to maximize your time, call your prospects, talk to them if they are available, leave voicemail quickly at the press of a button, 30 calls in 30 minutes. So if you did 30 calls in 30 minutes a day, that's more prospecting than most people will ever do, because most people will not prospect more than 1 or 2 people a day. I know that doesn't sound very big numbers, but that's why most people don't make the money that they want to make. But if you did only 30 minutes a day and you reached out to 30 prospects a day, I promise you, over a time period, in a month, that's like 20 days at least, that's 600 people you have reached out to. So that is phenomenal. The next one is called Sly Broadcast. Now, maybe you're familiar with this, maybe not. So let me ask you, how many of you got a voicemail from me saying that there is a webinar tomorrow? Okay, that was using Sly Broadcast. Now, Sly Broadcast, Scott, do you use Sly Broadcast?
I don't. The only time I would do it is inviting somebody to an event. Otherwise, I don't like to use it.
Yes. So it's a great place for announcements. So if you're inviting people to an event, it's perfect. So if you're going to be doing events, like in my case, every Thursday, we'll be having 11 o'clock prospecting webinar. Okay. So every week I will do that. So guess what? It just makes common sense for me to send out a reminder to people to say, hey, this is what is going to be happening. And by using Sly Broadcast, now some of you may be wondering about the charges. Phone burner is about $100 a month. Sly Broadcast is, depending on the package you buy, 10 cents per voicemail left. And you can decide accordingly how your time is worth. So you will, because some people are too scared to invest in business, which is not the smart thing to do. But if you could save time, you're actually going further ahead. Because the only reason we don't make the money we want to make is we are not in front of enough people. And I'll talk about that concept a little bit more in expanded fashion here. So the first one we talked about is using the phone and talking to people. And if they're not available, leave automated voicemail. Second one is not even talk to them. So you could send out 100 or 1,000 messages in a minute, because all you needed to do was upload your voicemail, upload the phone numbers, and for $100, you got 1,000 people to get your voicemail. That is saving time because it took you a minute. Now, if you're somebody who makes good money, so you make $100 an hour, $500 an hour, or whatever that is, guess what? That $100 was well worth spent to reach out to 1,000 people because you are now able to get the response you're looking for. So good. So anybody has any questions on what we are covering so far? Any questions? Simple enough, easy enough, right? So
I
slide
have a
broadcast.
question.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, Steve.
So you're saying this is some sort of system where you
Mhm.
can load all of your, is it emails or telephone numbers?
So far, we are
And
talking
then
about
you
phone,
can, I'm sorry,
telephone. Mhm.
okay, and then you can reach out to all of them, like 1,000 people with this device?
Yeah, but voice, not device, it's a program. Online, you
Hmm.
can just upload the phone numbers into the spreadsheet, so to speak. You press one button, it goes out to all the 1,000 people with the same voicemail. You didn't talk to anybody, you just left voicemails. It only
Really?
looks for cell phone numbers. Oh yeah, it's
That's
phenomenal.
amazing.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next one. So this is called Reach app. How many of you are using something like a Reach app? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So Reach app can maximize your time because you can text to a group of people and you can personalize as needed. So for example, let's say, Scott, you have a list of past clients, right? Okay. And you want to send them out the same message, all of them. Now you can put first name before, so it personalizes it. And if you want to send them all one message at one shot, boom, it can do it. Or if you want to screen every message before you send it. So with some people, you may add something that, hey, it was great talking to you, or whatever else, you can do that. So the Reach app can send out text message from your cell phone. It's on Android as well as Apple immediately at a time. So I will send, my guess is close to 1,000 people in the next couple of days, Happy Father's Day. How many of you get offended by getting a message called Happy Father's Day? Anybody? I mean, I'm not talking of females here, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So if you get a Happy Father's Day message, so David, if you got Happy Father's Day message, maybe you can't talk. So if you can't, let me know. If you can't, that's fine. You let me know. But if you get Happy Father's Day message, David, would you be upset? Never, right? So he puts it in the chat, never, right? Same thing. Daniel, how about you? If you got a Happy Father's Day message, I don't know. Are you a parent? I don't even know much about that. So you'll be fine with that, right? Exactly. Or the way we structure the message. Mooskaan, how do we send a message, Father's Day message, to anybody, whether it's a female or not? Female or male? I think we gave a suggestion.
Yeah, I said I can't remember the exact wording I used, but something about like happy Mother's Day to your family or something.
Correct. Correct. So even if it's a woman, we will say, hey, Happy Father's Day to your family. Because lastly, whatever I've checked, everybody has a parent, right? So if somebody has a parent, there is a father somewhere, right? So just saying Happy Father's Day to your family. Or if you want to be more engaging, you say, hey, how is your family going to be celebrating Father's Day? Or how are you going to be celebrating Father's Day? Whatever you want to say that way, right? Because now it starts engaging people. So is anybody using a group text system right now? You are using. So what do you use? Which one do you use, Scott?
I use Hit 'em Up.
What is it?
Hit 'em Up.
Hit 'em up.
HITEM up.
Okay, Mooskaan, write that down. We'll research it. So that's good. So you find it very practical.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the features, couple of features you like about them?
I mean, exactly what you were saying. I use it for like different products that are newer to the market, or like yesterday with the feds increasing or pausing the Fed fund rate, being able to get it out, putting in a link for a video, things like that.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So good. So Scott is using most of the tools we are talking about, which is a good thing. The next one I want to talk about, he uses that obviously, I think. BombBomb, right? Do you use BombBomb, Scott?
I don't use BombBomb, I use Vidyard.
Okay, but you use something similar.
Correct. It's BombBomb, Vidyard, CoVideo. They're pretty much all the same.
Correct, correct. I agree with you. So I've been using BombBomb. I used to use the third one you mentioned. I forgot the name. But anyway,
CoVideo.
yeah. So I used to use another one before as well, but I'm now using BombBomb. I've been using for a while. So how many of you know that it's easier to send a video email to people today than ever before, right? So BombBomb is a monthly subscription, right? And you can, so how many of you got my video email yesterday? So what was your impression, if you could speak up, when you got that video?
It's a personalized message. That's what it
Yeah,
felt.
mine was not a blanket email, was it?
Right, personalized.
Yes, I said Scott, if it was Scott, Phelan, or Nancy, I said the name in the video. It was not artificial intelligence, which you can do today, by the way. So, but I use, so it makes the person feel like, oh yeah, this person cares about me. They're paying attention to me. And that's the key. Now, how long was the message? Anybody remember how long that message was on the video?
It's
Roughly?
under 60 seconds.
Pardon?
Under 60 seconds.
Yeah, usually about 20 seconds or less. So in
The
less
one thing
than,
I would,
pardon?
I was going to say the one thing I'd advise,
Yes.
David put it in the chat earlier that he can't really talk right now.
Yeah.
I think he has a headset on because he's in a group setting.
Yeah.
Always use closed caption.
That's a good
Closed
point.
caption should be on, I think.
No.
automatically.
BombBomb,
Did
I
it?
have to pay additional.
Oh, for BombBomb you saying,
Yes.
okay, I was.
That's a good point. Thank you
Sorry.
for reminding me. I need to check. I thought it was included, but I realize now it's not included. So I'll have to, I think, upgrade it or something. Whatever package I bought, because they changed some packages, and whatever I had bought, then they added closed caption later because I've been using it for a while. So good idea. Thank you very much. So Scott's point was very good. Why should we use closed caption? Anybody else? Because Scott obviously, I'm sure, knows the answer. Why should we use closed caption?
Because the majority of people who listen or watch a video are in a public setting or a setting where they don't want others to hear.
Exactly. From what I hear is almost 70–80% people watch video without the sound. Especially like if you're waiting in the line for Chipotle or whatever, right? And you don't want to be. So that's definitely a big point about that. So thanks for mentioning that. Very good. So we talked about different tools here. We talked about using the cell phone or phone to call people using phone burner. Then we talked about phone using voicemail so that you can leave a voicemail. We talked about using your cell phone to leave text messages in a group setting, but could be personalized. And the last one we talked about is the video email. Let's talk about send out cards. Now, Nancy's very successful at using send out cards. And Mooskaan, do you want to show the cards that you have been receiving from me? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mostly get a
And
lot.
Nancy too, by the way. Yes.
Oh yeah, Nancy has sent a bunch. So you can't see it, but on my wall above my bed, I have about 13 cards posted. But other than that, my dad sent out this card, and then this card, and then this one, and then this one, and then I think someone else. Yeah, another friend of mine actually. She sent out a picture that we took together. She sent me that one. Another one for my dad. This was last year. And then, yeah, this is the one. This is when I got my, this is my learner's permit, I'm pretty sure, or my driver's license, but I'm pretty sure this is my driver's permit. And so these are just a few of all of them I have in a box. I keep all of them, but we
Thank
don't
you,
get
Mooskaan.
physical pictures anymore.
Exactly. So the open rate for most information you send out is extremely low. So we will show you that here. Let me show you that. Because we all need to follow up, right? And if we don't follow up enough, we don't get the response we are looking for. So here is, so 2% are ready to buy today that you will approach, 48% never follow up, 26% follow up once and stop, 13% follow up twice and stop, 80% of sales happen after the 6th contact. So like Scott was saying, he's looking for 10 follow-up ideas. We'll go through that in a minute here. Okay. But the point is, if you and I are not following up enough times, we should not expect to get many sales. Okay. So let's talk about the open rate. And this is information that Nancy gave me. So voicemail, people open 18%, emails 26%, text messages 20 to 35%, and cards is 100%. So Nancy, why should people use a physical card in this world we live today, and what is send out cards?
So just looking at those statistics, it's very obvious that if you want to reach there's a lot of noise out there. We all agree. So if you want somebody to pay attention to what you're doing, a physical card will do that. A card is very different than a bill or some other material you receive in your mailbox. It's very obvious that it's a card. And it has the feeling of a Christmas present that you just don't know what's inside, hence people open it. And if you personalize it, and Mooskaan, I'm going to ask you, how long have you kept some of your cards?
Well, I showed you the one that I got for my learner's permit, which I was about 15, and I'm 19 now.
Right. And that's the point. People have told me that they've kept the cards. I've sent them for years. And did you notice that one of the things that made it special, I'm sure, Mooskaan, is that your photo was in the card. Am I right? So it was both the message, but it is the fact that the card is about her, not about you. On the back of the card, you can have branding, which because almost everybody wants to turn over the card to see, well, where did it come from? And hence that's a subtle way of marketing without blaring at somebody. It's physical. It can be hung on bulletin boards, placed on desks and so forth. That's shows you what branding can look like, etc. It's subtle, but people are always going to look. So if you're interested in the possibility of using it, it's an out-of-the-box method. I recently read a book by Stu Heinecke called, I think, Weeding, or I may not have the title exact, but it's on businesses, growing your business like a weed. And he is one of the advocates of doing out-of-the-box marketing. Cards are one of those ways that can help you stay memorable, top of mind, without being pushy, aggressive, or salesy. So I have a link if you'd like to try a card. It's free. You don't pay any money, including postage. And so I know, Minesh, if you have that, or you can see it right here. I have a QR code. I have the link that you can use to send a card and try it out.
Exactly. Thank you, Nancy. bit.ly/follow-Z, F and Z being the capital letters. If you need more information, you can contact me or Nancy. We can tell you more about it. So let me get a quick read from the room here. How many of you got at least one point that you could apply in your prospecting? At least one. Okay, good. Thank you. So who wants to share one thing that you're going to apply based on what you learned today? You can chat, put it in the chat. Yes. Let me read out. I see yes and one and so on and so forth. What is one thing that you will be able to apply? Deshaun, welcome. Okay, phone dialer is one of them. That's good. Randall, I appreciate you telling me that. So there is a lot more stuff that we can talk about. I know Scott was looking for information regarding follow-up ideas. So I'll give you some follow-up ideas, but before that, do I have your permission to share how you can be benefiting from the prospecting program that I'm putting together? Is that okay with you to share? Let me, give me a second. Oh, by the way, Scott, I looked up this picture. Would it get your attention if we send a card with this on the front covers card?
Yep.
But that's the idea behind it, right? Okay, so I thought that would be fun to show you that to you, because that's what we would do in order to get somebody's attention, right? So let
Yeah,
me
it's very easy. You just grab photos, or right now we're here on Zoom. If you were to take a candid picture, you know,
Muskan, go ahead and
crop
take a
the
picture. Go ahead.
And yeah, it's very easy
Smile,
to,
please. Everybody smile. Thanks for reminding, Nancy. I appreciate that tremendously. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that we can do easily. So let me share a couple of things with you. So give me a second here. So the question is, mainly, let me just bring up the slide here. So I want to support you in prospecting. So what if you could prospect more? What do you need to be able to prospect more? Anybody wants to put in the chat, how would you be like supported? Like, what are things which we could do to support you more in prospecting? Okay, I'm sure people are putting that in the chat. Accountability is important, right? So the first thing is Grant Cardone has put together 800 video training modules, and you will have access to Cardone University in the program that I'm talking about today. It would be areas like selling, team building, finance. If you went and bought Cardone University on your own, you would be paying $97 a month or $997 for 12 months. Okay, and some of you are familiar, maybe you've seen it on the screen. I've been showing that before. The second one is accountability. That's what I want to help you provide. So it's daily accountability via text or Facebook. So we are creating a Facebook group where you can post on a daily basis what you did so that you can get support, you can get accountability done on a consistent basis. Okay, you can text me if you're not on Facebook. That's fine with me. My cell phone number is right there. Just for the able to do that, that alone would be valuable at $297 in my opinion. Then weekly, we'll be conducting 45-minute training on different topics relating to prospecting mainly initially, but also we'll be adding sales, scaling your business, hiring people, building teams, and personal finance, because all of those things are required to build a big business. Content mostly will come from Grant Cardone because he's a billionaire. I don't need to change too many things from what he teaches already. That value will be about $497. Now, obviously, we all want action rather than not action, right? So I have put together fast texting bonus. So those who act within the next 20 minutes, you'll get a 30-minute one-on-one individual assessment with me directly. So I'll actually talk to you with a game plan session. For those who know my training, I charge $1,000. So you'll be getting a $497 value for just 30 minutes invested specific to your assessment one-on-one. What will that do for you? It will remind you about where your mindset is, where your marketing, your sales and personal finance, etc., so that you can take a look at it and say, what kind of a game plan do I need for the next month, next 90 days, and basically for the end of the year. The next one is sales execution workshop that Grant Cardone has put together. If you went live, Mooskaan went actually to the 2-day workshop at Miami. We paid $5,000 for her to be trained at her workshop. So that alone, but we'll be conducting a condensed version because obviously it's a smaller group typically we will have. It's a 4-hour workshop, but because we'll have follow-up included, we don't have to do like a 2-day workshop, full 2 days at one shot. We can break it up in future as well. But the most important parts will be covered right up front at 4 hours, and we can help you follow up. And then you can attend that every month. Every month you can focus on the sales execution workshop. What does this workshop do? You can go check it out, more details, but it will help you create a sales process. Now, if you already have a sales process you are happy with, great. But if you need improvement on it, this is a bonus that you are going to get. Disc profile, for some people who are familiar, I charge $150 for a disc. Usually people pay me $250 for disc, motivators, and EQ. A lot of people that Scott is familiar with the core community, they use a lot of my services in that area, specifically during the hiring process. So that will be bonus to you, so you can actually see how to use your disc report for your own communication, as well as if you're looking to build a team around you as well. So and here is the part. This is the most fun part for you. So if you're paying attention to you, refer 3 and your program is free. There is 33% referral commission after you purchase. What does that mean? I have to invest time and money in marketing. So instead of marketing and sales all the time from me, if I could give you a portion of it and make it easier for me to spread the numbers, because my goal is to get 100 people in this community in 90 days, because that will create a supportive environment for salespeople, entrepreneurs. We can ask each other questions, create a rapport with each other to get each other's access to whatever the talents are. Like Hit 'em Up was something Scott uses. I didn't know about it. Now we get to know about it as well. So very helpful if you have a team, sales team, or you belong to a company or association with other salespeople and entrepreneurs. So this is tremendously easy for anybody to justify. Now, some of you are like, hey, Minesh, I don't know, I'm uncertain about it. No problems. It's a 30-day full money back guarantee. No questions asked. Because after you have had access to all of this for 30 days and you still don't see the value, hey, perfectly fine with me. Not a big deal, because I'm interested in getting people results. And if this is working for you, I want you to stay with me for a longer period of time in order to do that. Ideally, I would like to be your coach for life from Grant Cardone's materials. He is a billionaire, so I'm sure if you want to be a billionaire, he has enough information to help you achieve that goal. Now, I just want to make sure we understand here, I'm not teaching specific to any business. So like Scott, you are in the lending and real estate industry. So guess what? We are not talking about the specific industry. We're talking about the general concepts of sales. So a lot of people who already get access to specific training, whether it's auto dealership, investments, insurance companies, or lending real estate, you can get specific coaching from people within that community. But when you want to understand the bigger picture of sales, business, finance, etc., this is a great place for all the specific knowledge that you need from all specific to sales, marketing, etc., but from a general industry perspective, not specific to an industry. So again, 30-day full money back guarantee, and total value based on what you would add up to what I had told you already would be over $6,000. But today you pay only $197 a month. The question always for everybody is, what is it costing me to not get the support and accountability? Now, if you're already getting the support and accountability you need to the degree you want, great, fantastic. This may not be for you. Perfectly fine with me. On the other hand, if you are even a little bit interested in taking a chance because of the full money back guarantee, try it out for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, either you'll see it is valuable or it's not. If you find it valuable, great, continue. If not, stop and you'll get your money back. I cannot make it any easier than that. And for me, it's about getting people results. I want to be here to support you to get results. I'm going to continue this for a long time. If Biden can run for president at the age of 80, I'm only 60. From that perspective, I still got 20 years to go, okay? So again, let's just summarize what is included here, right? Let me move this here so that we can see. Access to 800 video training modules from Cardone University, daily accountability via text and Facebook, weekly 45-minute training on prospecting, initially more, sales, follow-up, etc. Fast acting bonuses, 30-minute one-on-one individual assessment and game plan session, monthly sales execution workshop, 33% referral commission, disc report for yourself, 30-day full money back guarantee, and the total value is $6,041. But today, it's only $197 a month. So all you need to do to start is go to 10x1234.com. So it is 10x1234.com and register there within the next 20 minutes to enjoy all the bonuses that we have in order to take action as well. So anybody else has any questions before we wrap up? I'm here to support you. Maybe, Mooskaan, you can look at the chat if somebody has any questions.
I don't see any questions yet. Randall was just saying he hopes that we all have a good Father's Day.
Thank you. I appreciate that tremendously.
P. Lynn and David both say thanks.
Okay,
Daniel, I'll
fantastic.
put the website in the chat again.
Yes, so put it there,
10x1234.
10x1234.com. So good. So as we wrap up here, anybody else has any comments about what you were able to learn today? No questions, no comments?
Good value. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I know Scott was asking about follow-up, right, Scott?
Yes, I was. I gotta hop off for another call for my coaching call, so I appreciate you, Minesh.
Okay, thanks for being here. I appreciate it and look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Sure. Happy Father's Day to you as well.
Bye.
Okay, well, we will take off. Thanks for your time and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.